Hi, welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am the lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And thank you so much for joining me once again today. I appreciate each and every one of you that supports me. Couldn't do it without you. Daily drill. Look at the banner below me. Please give me a follow on X, Twitter, at KX_21. Um, Once again, I'm going to be attending practices daily very, very soon. And there will be content from practices, from press conferences, and everything in between that I will be posting on X. So please give me a follow if you have a minute to do so. That is very much appreciated. All right, so today it might be a little bit of a redundant topic, but I want to talk about more top 25 preseason rankings. We are now under 3 months away from ASU kicking off the season against NAU on August 30th. And that will be a monumental game because there's a chance that this is the first game that Arizona State plays that they're ranked in the top 10 in a decade, since 2014. They have not been in the top 10 since 2014 when they were number 6 in late November before they lost to Oregon State, which cost them a shot at the college football playoff, ironically. So all eyes will be on Arizona State football. They're expected to, at worst, be a top 15 team in the country going into the season in the preseason poll. They're expected to be the front runner in the Big 12 conference by many people, but not everybody. Now let's look at this. So Phil Steele, who's a longtime college football analyst slash writer slash insider, I believe he has credentials such as being a Heisman voter, All-American voter. There's lots of credentials there. So he has gone independent in the recent years since leaving ESPN, and he came out with his yearly top rankings of all the programs in college football. I believe it's at least a top 50. And let's see where Arizona State stands out compared to the rest of the Big 12. So he does have Arizona State ranked in his rankings. He has them number 23 in the nation as of right now, which might seem great at the surface, but he actually ranks them tied for fourth in the conference in the second tier of the conference behind Baylor, Utah, and Iowa State. And those three teams are absolutely shocking to be in the top tier and all tied with each other. He put Arizona State in tier 2 along with Kansas State and Texas Tech, which those three teams are actually the ones that are considered to be the elite of the conference going into the season, at least based off of the roster makeup and coaching and all those other factors. All right, let's take a look at it. So he has Baylor ranked number 13 as the highest ranked team in the Big 12, tied for first along with Utah and Iowa State, as I said. All right, Baylor, a lot of people are buying stock on Baylor as the biggest threat to Arizona State to Arizona State's quest to win the Big 12 for a second consecutive season. They obviously have Sawyer Robertson, who is a big-armed, mobile, pretty much do-it-all quarterback. He's not a dual-threat quarterback, but he moves in the pocket very fluidly. He's very comfortable reading his progressions. He has a rocket arm. He has prototypical quarterback size. That Baylor offense should be dynamic this season. There are question marks surrounding their defense, though. Dave Aranda did a pretty good job in transfer portal, but still, they need to go out in the field and prove it after struggling a lot last season. Number 2 in the Big 12, Utah, number 18. All right, this makes sense on paper, I suppose. You can't get too upset about Utah being ranked in the top 25, I guess, because Kyle Whittingham always brings his A game when it comes to building up an elite defense. And his main issue over the last 2 seasons has been A, the uncertain health situation surrounding Cam Rising, and B, the backups not being sufficient to winning football. The offense struggled way more than it normally does over the last 2 seasons. And now he might have his quarterback in Devin Dampier. Dampier is a very raw passer, but he's a dynamic playmaker. He ran for 19 touchdowns last season. There's a chance that he takes a step forward with requisite coaching in the Big 12 conference. So you can't harp on that one too much. That's fine, I suppose. And then you got Iowa State at 21. ranked higher than Arizona State despite losing Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, the dynamic wide receiver duo. They do bring back an amazing defense for Matt Campbell once again. Rocco Beck does return, and he is around in the top 5 ballpark range of Big 12 quarterbacks. So Iowa State, there is a lot to like about. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to be ranked over ASU, Kansas State, and Texas Tech right now. But that's just me. Now let's go to the second tier. ASU 23, Kansas State 24, Texas Tech 29. So ASU obviously bringing back nearly 80% of starting players from last season. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, possibly the best quarterback wide receiver duo in college football. They connected for over 1,000 yards through the air between the two. Just an absolutely incredible duo. The offense should be more balanced this year. The defense should be getting a lot of reinforcements in the secondary and on the D line. The linebacking core might be one of the better in college football at large. So there's a lot to like about Arizona State. Doesn't make a lot of sense that they're currently in the second tier. It feels like a situation where you're at the top until it's proven otherwise. And that's how it should stick for them. But everybody's entitled to their own opinions. So let's see if the Sun Devils can prove Steele wrong. 24 Kansas State. They're a top 25 team on paper. Avery Johnson's looking to build off of a successful first season as the starting quarterback there. Chris Kleiman always puts forward a team that's very balanced from top to bottom. They just got to win the big game. They haven't won a massive game since the 2022 season when they made it to the Big 12 title game and won. Yeah, it's been a while, so let's see what they can do. Texas Tech, that's the team that's getting most of the hype outside of Arizona State. It's understandable why. Joey McGuire built up the second best transfer portal class in the country. Bayron Morton returns. No matter how you feel about him, he's a sufficient quarterback. He gets the chains moving. They have a dynamic running game despite losing Taj Brooks. The defense should be rebuilt. Texas Tech looks like a team that could be the potential representative or one of the two representatives of the Big 12 in the college football playoff in 2025. So we'll see there. Lastly, Tier 3, TCU at 36. I agree with that. I am pretty high on TCU relative to everybody else in the country. I actually think TCU has a chance to finish in the top 3 or 4 of the Big 12. They have major defensive concerns around Sonny Dykes' squad. There's no doubt about that. But Josh Hoover is a phenomenal quarterback. There's a lot to like on the offensive side of the ball, and their schedule stacks up pretty favorably for them outside of playing Arizona State the last week of September in Tempe. So, yeah, that's all for today. Oh, the main takeaway is that possibly Arizona State's being slept on by Phil Steele, but overall, the main takeaway is that the Big 12 is going to be a lot stronger this season compared to last season. There's going to be a lot more competition. There's going to be more opportunities for multiple squads to make the college football playoff, and that will be great for Arizona State as a program moving forward, especially if they end up making the second straight college football playoff appearance at the end of the season themselves. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in today. I had a blast doing this for the last 9 minutes. And once again, follow me on X/Twitter if you get a minute at KX_21. Thank you so much for tuning in today. See you tomorrow.